I was online on Saturday when I saw a picture of Will Smith's son, Jaden, in a dress. And in the article, he was talking about how he liked to buy women's clothes. Black folks, you have to be careful. This is another part of the social engineering campaign to feminize black men. The goal, this campaign has gone on since it's been going on for years, but in subtle ways, but it's been escalated since the year 2000. There's been an ongoing campaign, to feminize the black man, and the reason why they do these campaigns, Madison Avenue and Hollywood, do these campaigns to feminize the black man is because they don't want black men to be leaders in their communities. And when you put a black man in a dress, it's a statement. And the statement is that this man has no power, this man has no authority, this man is not a leader. He is not someone you should respect or even look at in your community. He is in a position lower than a pet dog. Now, I go into this in depth in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and talking about how the black man is degraded and how the order, God's natural order, is completely disrupted in the black community. Because if we look at God's order, it's God, Jesus, man, woman, and then the children. And that's how it is. But when we look at the black order, we have the white Jesus, which is the white liberal, um, black woman, government job, government programs, corporate job, black children, pets, and then the black man. This is the order that the black community currently is in. And it's an order of chaos and dysfunction. And we can see the chaos and dysfunction because here we have the son of the highest of the one of the A-list black Hollywood stars, and he's completely dysfunctional. When you see a grown man, almost grown man, wearing a dress and talking about how he likes women's clothes, there's a mental disorder going on here. It's sad to say that this boy's emotional needs were not met by his father, and what's most disturbing about it is Will Smith was a man who supposedly cared about fathers and supposed to be cared about the community, but let's look at the fruit of what he produced: a dysfunctional son and a dysfunctional daughter. And this is just sad to watch when you see more and more every day. I see these feminized images of black men. It started, from what I saw in the trends, with the 2000 with the Big Mama's House, followed by the Tyler Perry movies. Everywhere you went, there was an attempt to put a black man in a dress. And the message that was sent was that this black man is weak, this black man is sorry, this black man doesn't even have enough dignity or self-respect to see that he's being degraded and humiliated by the powers that be. He thinks that this is a good thing, and many of these Negro males don't even understand when somebody puts you in a dress. That's a sign that they're humiliating you. I mean, if you look at today, now I know I've heard people even in my own family come to me and say, well, they had the movie Some Like It Hot, and they had other things where white men, Milton Berlin, like those concepts are 50 years old, in many cases 60 years old. When it comes down to this black man, almost every year we have an image of a black man in a dress, and we have black men, in these feminized images. I mean, we've gone from, sagging pants to this black man in a dress, black men in skirts. I mean, what's next? Black men in makeup? I mean, where is the bottom? I've been asking this question time and time again. Where is the bottom when it comes to black men? I mean, a man with dignity and self-respect is going to look at a man who wears a skirt or a man who wears a dress as weak. He's going to look at him as effeminate, in a submissive position. This is what Jaden Smith is really sending the message to the world as. He's a weak, submissive, pathetic male that can easily be bent or broken and done with whatever people please. And the whole thing is that's scary about this is because he's the son of Will Smith, because he's the son of an A-list black actor, what's going to happen is a lot of these black males out here, young black males who are very influenced and impressionable, what they're going to do is think this is okay. This is where the social engineering part of my argument comes in, because I see Jaden Smith wearing a dress. Guess what? I'm going to think it's okay to wear a dress. That's what the young impressionable male thinks. It's trendy and hip for this guy. Well, then maybe I should do it too. Because I've also seen these pictures, of male models running around, with dresses on and skirts. And they only show black male models doing this. You don't see any white guys doing this. You don't see, A-list white guys like your Christian Bales or your Leonardo DiCaprios. You don't see any of those guys running around talking about, I want to put on a dress. The only guy I saw was Adam Sandler, and that movie was pretty much buried at the box office because white men weren't going to go see a white man in a dress. The only man who allows himself to be degraded like this is your black male. And this has been going on, for the past 15, 16 years. And I even saw it in earlier things like in Living Color with the Jamie Foxx and the Wanda character. And even Dave Chappelle pointed this out. He said every black man in Hollywood who has become a success seems to have put on a dress. This was some critical thinking from Mr. Chappelle. And he said that, and I looked at the pattern and said, yeah, every black man who's been on the A-list at one point in time of their lives has either played a gay role or put on a dress. And this is what Hollywood views black men as. They view them as weak. They view them as submissive. They view them as pathetic. And I wonder, when are black men are going to start saying to themselves, you know what, this is not who I am. And if I have to sacrifice my dignity and self-respect for some fame, then I don't want to be a part of Hollywood. That's what I said to myself. For years I was always wanted to be a screenwriter and wanted to work in Hollywood. But after seeing the way black men have been treated and seeing the content that's being produced, I want nothing to do with it now. Just completely disgusts me. But I try to, teach other people about how Hollywood does people and, the social engineering components, because I want people to learn and understand what is being produced and how destructive it is to black people. And when you see these images of black men in dresses, this is meant to emasculate black men. This is meant to degrade the black men. This is meant to humiliate black men. And it's meant to socially engineer a message to younger people. That's why they use guys like Jaden Smith to send a message to younger black boys that they want you to think this is the norm, and that you being in this position, is a social norm. And this is not the norm. This is not the way God made a man to be. He made a man to be a leader. He made him to be the head of the family. He made him an authority figure. And his authority is being undermined by these institutions, Madison Avenue and Hollywood, these white supremacist institutions, in the hopes of presenting this black man in a submissive way and turning him to a poor, pathetic male who cannot do anything for himself and do anything for others, and that he has to be put in this codependent relationship where he's cared for by his black woman. And that's not the way God made relationships to be. He made the man to be the head of the family. He made him to be the leader, and he made the man to be the direct connection to God. And that's the way it always has been. That's the way it always will be. But the way our black men are being socially engineered, black men, we have to start taking action to counter these images and to counter this media, because it's obvious that many in black Hollywood are lost, disconnected. They have sold out our communities, and they do not care about the messages being presented to our kids in images, because a picture is 1,000 words, and a black man who is in a dress is telling the world that he's a weak, pathetic male who can be bent, broken, and forced to submit. And this is what we're seeing when it comes down to our black men. When they can take a kid like Jaden Smith and use him like that, it's sending a very powerful message. And we really need to start taking a more closer look at what's being presented to us in media and start making efforts to fight it, because it seems like there's a homosexual agenda when it comes down to black people. With the Raven-Symones, the show Empire, there's an agenda to promote this homosexual lifestyle to African Americans and make this the mainstream culture, just like the Madison Avenue Hollywood made thug culture mainstream black culture. It's up to us, black people, and black publishers like myself, to take our culture and protect it and preserve it and prevent people from turning this into the standard black male identity. Because just like they did, like I said just a minute ago, they took the thug culture and they made that the mainstream black culture. Now everybody across the world thinks thug, they correlate thug as equaling black, when thug has nothing to do with black. Thug was something made up in a white corporate boardroom, just like this campaign to make homosexual the new standard for black is another concept made by corporate people in the Madison Avenue and Hollywood boardroom. It's made up to destroy the image of black people and to furthermore destroy the image of black children, because with social engineering, the goal is not to get this generation, but the next generation and the generation after that. And once they get them thinking that way, they pretty much can control them and control their buying habits and have them thinking a certain way and thinking with certain views. And the whole goal that is being done now with people like your Lee Daniels um, is that they want to push this gay agenda so they can destroy our black men and our black boys and have it where black men wearing dresses is a social norm. And when you see a picture of a guy like Jaden Smith, that's there for an intentional reason. That's presented for an intentional reason. This has been a campaign that has been waged on black men and black men like myself who have been speaking out about it. I wrote an entire article about this called Black Men in Dresses, Entertainment or Emasculation way back in 2010 when I saw Martin Lawrence and Jamie Foxx getting ready to launch a movie called Skank Robbers. Um, and they published that article, I remember, on onyxlink.com, and they ran down all the pictures of black men in dresses. This has been going on for years, and almost 30 years for Flip Wilson and Geraldine. This is like subtle hints, but the whole goal of it now, because it's been ramped up since 2000 with the Big Mama's House, the Medeas. It's been ramped up, and it's like almost every year we're seeing a black man in a dress or somebody trying to push black men in skirts or some type of feminine clothing. And I know what's coming next. I know the makeup is coming next, and I know that there's going to be some dysfunctional Negro out here who's going to call himself putting on makeup and trying to justify it. And, or he's going to be running around carrying a purse talking about he's going to try to justify it. And this emasculation has to be pushed back and it has to be fought against by decent, caring, self-respecting black men. And because black manhood is under fire and we have to take action to protect black manhood, heterosexual black manhood. Because again, it's under fire, it's being attacked at every corner, and it's being attacked on every side. Again, we don't see Hispanic men presented in dresses. Their community would be outraged. You don't see no Arab man dressed up in a dress. You don't see any Asian people dressed up in a dress. The only man you see on a regular basis putting on a dress in mainstream American media is your black man. And we as black men have to say enough is enough. This has to stop. If you want to put some dress on somebody, go put it on one of these white guys, because you're not going to do this to us. Because basically the message that's being sent when you put a black man in a dress is saying that he is not a man. He is somebody that can be controlled. He is somebody that can be broken. He is somebody that he can be made to submit, and that he's basically a joke, and that no one needs to take him seriously. And this is something that, as a black man, I have a real issue with, because a black man in a dress is a slap in the face to all heterosexual black men. Again, it's the devaluation of heterosexual black manhood and the devaluation of what it means to be a man. If you want to present an image of a man, present an image of a black man in a suit. Present an image of a black man, who's intelligent, well-spoken, such as like myself. This is an image of black manhood that we need to see. We don't need to see, dysfunctional males like your Jaden Smiths or other black males running around in dresses and degrading the image of black manhood. Enough is enough, and I'm saying that, black men, we have to unite to fight this degradation of our image and, make it the best it can be. Because a black man is strong, he's a leader, and he's the head of the family that God made. And he needs to get back to that role in taking back his family and taking charge of his family so that his boys can learn what it means to be a heterosexual black man. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.